Are we live? I think.
Think so. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah, hope everybody can hear me. We have a lot of people saying hello 30 minutes early. So what's up, everybody? This is Matt from DealMachine. He is the go-to guy for driving for dollars and all the other good stuff that app does. Way more than what I ever show you guys because I can only show so much in a 60-second TikTok. So.
Yeah, are we live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or what are we on?
We're live on YouTube, and I got both my TikToks that's live on.
Boom, awesome! Hey, everybody, thanks for spending the afternoon with us. Excited to chat. Boom, awesome! Hey, everybody, thanks for spending the afternoon with us. Excited to chat. Boom, awesome! Hey, everybody, thanks for spending the afternoon.
Stuff. I'm good.
Few technical difficulties. We'll figure it out.
We good?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be okay. I'm
Perfect.
In the studio. Are you on YouTube or in the studio as well?
I'm in the studio. Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't know. I didn't know if I was supposed to be on YouTube or in the studio.
All good. We're figuring it out. First time through for everything. Appreciate everybody being patient here.
So, do you want to go over some of the stuff it does with DealMachine, other than just driving for dollars and it's able to mark the houses? Because they kind of got that from my videos. But that's about all they get. You can skip tracing the mailer from within the app while you're driving, and that's about all I've ever showed them.
Yeah, happy to. So, I mean, to even kind of begin with, I mean, I know, one, really appreciate you bringing me on. I mean, I always have a good time with you, Paul, and just, hanging out, chatting with your audience like this. I mean, I know, we've talked quite a bit on driving for dollars and, how we, as a company, our one-line mission being we want to give everyone the power of real estate investing. And I love that about how your mission seems to be really, really aligned. Like you're, doing it from anywhere, in any market, like, and talk people through how to get started on that kind of stuff. So I've always been a fan of the educational stuff that you put out. I know just a little bit about us and why we have any credibility on this subject in particular. I know our founder, David, he's somebody who, was brand new to real estate. And this was back in 2016. And, he brand new investor had done things like, he'd read Rich Dad Poor Dad and he'd listened to Bigger Pockets and he'd played the cash flow board game and he'd done stuff like that where he knew that real estate was the number one tool to generate generational wealth, to build wealth and to unlock financial freedom for himself. But he had never gotten into it. He was brand new, had just moved to Indianapolis, brand new to the real estate game, knew that he wanted to get into it, but didn't know where to start. And, there wasn't things like your TikTok channel, your YouTube, they didn't have nearly the resources that people have now today. But for him himself, he did have a technology background. Like he knew how to build things and had a little bit of a background in that. And when he got in, started trying to figure out where to go in real estate, he would go to local meetups. He'd go to, RIAs. He'd try to talk to people in Indianapolis and say like, hey, how do I get started? What do I do? Like, where do I start? And the thing he would hear over and over again is this term driving for dollars. Like he'd hear that over and over again as something like, hey, no matter what market you're in, geographically, what year, what the market's up, market's down, whatever, like the idea of going directly to a seller, driving around, looking for fixer upper properties, like looking for, the worst looking houses on the block, looking for the properties that need some help was what he heard over and over again as the thing that he should be doing. Like that's where he can find that first deal. And it, a sign of physical distress, like a sign of, anything from, a tarp on the roof or siding falling off or, gutters falling off or anything really obvious like that, all the way through to maybe a little more subtle signs. Like, for example, one of our first hires, he landed a deal using DealMachine by finding a house that had Christmas lights up or no, Halloween decorations up. And it was like March. So like things like that, where it's just for whatever reason, something about the appearance of the property's off. And that is the number one indicator of a potentially motivated seller. Like those are the best leads that you can get. And what David kept being told is like, hey, yeah, you can get a list of leads in a variety of ways. You can try to pull a list or buy a list or what have you, but going in and actually driving around and finding those hidden deals, finding the properties that no one else has real easy access to, like that's what makes Driving for Dollars leads the best leads that you can get, the best, potential property owners that are looking to sell that you can find out there. So for David, it was him, not knowing where to start, heard that advice over and over again. I forget, Paul, when did you say you started Driving for Dollars and like doing, and just wholesaling in general too?
2018 is when I started wholesaling.
2018. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And if anybody, feel free to jump in the chat too and comment if you've done your first deal, when you did that, if you've driven for dollars at all, if you've done virtual, wholesaling at all, that's applies here too. But for David, it was 2016 that he went out there and he started to drive around, started to look for these properties. He'd like get a paper and pencil out and would write down addresses and try to look up info about the owner and try to figure out like what's the situation of the property. And then he'd, write down a postcard and try to mail that off. And he, got a bunch of leads, sent out a bunch of postcards, just one to every house, and was like, okay, I'll sit back. I'm going to get a call now. Like, perfect. This is, I'm going to get a ton of deals from this. And him going out, he realized two things. Like, one, these were really good leads. But two, how he realized that was he wasn't winning them. He would drive past them a couple months later and some other investor would be fixing up the property and they had already bought it and they had already, he missed out on the deal. And he realized, man, I need a consistent way to market to people. And I need a way to get a ton of people in the pipeline that potentially could fit this, that are, have these fixer upper properties. Maybe I can use technology to take this, 30 plus minute process and turn that into a 10-second process. Whether you do it, we have virtual Driving for Dollars, which I can get into that a little bit, Paul. We've got our, our regular Driving for Dollars app or mobile app first that you can download and drive around, and it locks onto your location and you can add properties around you and then reach out to those property owners right there. But his first version was literally him going from being frustrated, not knowing what to do, to, okay, I have the right leads, I just need to put more of them and follow up with them more, to, okay, I made this app for myself where I could just tag properties in DealMachine and then follow up with them by automatically sending a postcard once a month. And him simply just doing that, he went from never having done a deal to a short time later having 10 rental properties, having over $500,000 in equity, having 6 figures in annual cash flow. Like, he literally built his own financial freedom doing this himself. And then when he did that, all these people said, how are you doing this? Like, his buddies would approach him. How are you getting out there? How are you like building this yourself? So he took that technology, he made that kind of like a little simple app to automate some of this stuff. He put it on the App Store. That's what version 1 of DealMachine became. And we've had over 200,000 people download it. We're the highest rated mobile app out there. We have a 4.8 for real estate investors. We have a 4.8 out of 5 on the App Store, Google Play Store. We have the most reviews out there, over 4,000 reviews. So excited to talk today, but just wanted to give people a little background on like, hey, how do we, who are we? What do we become? And I'm happy to get into like, specifics in terms of features and stuff.
Good, man. Yeah, you guys are awesome. We've talked a lot. I talked to you guys more than any other like software provider out there.
Love it, man. Yeah. We love coming on. I mean, that's my role here, is just to help educate audiences on giving people, and I can do that today, of like how to go out and be successful. And obviously we would love for people to use DealMachine themselves, but even if they don't, I can go through, we have really like a 3-step playbook of what the most successful investors are doing to land their first deal. And, that playbook is distilled down from literally hundreds of conversations. Like, we look at the data of what people, how people are landing deals. We've interviewed, it's like about 150 people on our YouTube channel now. You can go check that out, of people talking about the exact deals that they've landed using DealMachine and how they did it, the method they used, what, the steps they did. So the 3 steps I go through today, happy to talk through like specifics of DealMachine, but also want to give people that value. So that way, no matter what, if you're watching this, like, you come out of that with knowing where to start, knowing the action steps to take. And, I would love for you to use DealMachine. I know we give you like You're looking at like that promo code. Like that's, if you're going to get started, like make sure to use that instead of going through just through our site, just because that's going to get you the most marketing credits. You're going out there and you can go and get, it's over 200, it's $35 worth of marketing credits, but it's over 250 free skip traces, which is how I can get into that. But it's how you get in touch with a property owner, how you call them, how you text them. Or you can get over, I believe, 60 free mailers, and those are postcards that you can send to the property owner. And like I said, that's what David did. That's how he landed his deals. He automated that. He put it on repeat. So I'll go through like, hey, take these steps, and then also we wanted to give you 7-day free trial, all these free marketing credits. Make sure to use promo code Paul35 and you'll get all that stuff unlocked for you when you try out DealMachine. And then if you stick around to the end, I'll be able to give everybody on here a really, really sweet exclusive offer. But want to make sure I give everybody the value of those 3 steps first. So does that sound good, Paul?
Sounds great, man. I do have a question. I get this a lot on TikTok. What's the difference between DealMachine and then like prop streams or propellers driving for dollar app? I get that question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what really separates it apart per se. So maybe
we get it a ton too. I mean, there are so many real estate apps out there. So whether it be like you said, there's a million options we get of how you're different than this, how are you different than this. So happy to answer that. I would say so there's a couple things there. First and foremost, again, our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing, and how to go do that, like why we think we accomplish that best is from a usability standpoint. It's an ease of use. It's simple. I just got out of a conversation just before this, and it was with our product team, and we did a survey with all of our customers, and the number one factor of why do you like DealMachine was usability. It was, oh, Paul, did we lose you there? Can you hear me okay? Oh no, lost power and storming. Hold on, let me see here. We're rebooting the computer. I'm not sure if I believe we're still live. I want to make sure that I don't go on if we're not, because I don't want to give people here. You know what? I'll assume we're still live. We'll wait for Paul to get back on here. I can answer that question to start with. So what makes this unique? And we hear this a lot, hear this all the time. I'd say, and let me shoot him a text first. Sounds good, buddy. Cool. So first and foremost, again, our usability, our simplicity, our ease of use to get started. Like we believe that is absolutely crucial if we want to be the answer to giving people the power to real estate investing. Like they got to be able to come on, know what to do right away, know how to get started. And all of our ratings and reviews, like why we talk about us being the highest rated, the highest review or most reviewed app out there, it comes down to that. It's like, hey, we want to be that super easy to use place to go, get out there, make things happen immediately, and start making progress on landing that first deal. So I think from a simplicity standpoint, we're also really known as the best in class driving for dollars app. Like that is our really bread and butter is our driving for dollars. We have a lot outside of that I would love to, I'll talk about and educate you guys on too. But really the simplicity and, best in class driving for dollars app for sure are two main factors. Our support team gets back to you in less than 4 minutes on average. Our development team, we're putting out new major features every 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks. So that's something, if you go on the App Store, you can look and compare us to any other app out there to see the history of updates in the App Store. And a lot of other apps, you might see like bug fixes here and there, but for us, you'll see like major new features unlocked. Like we just launched our MLS data not too long ago. Like we're doing things like that where you see major upgrades over and over again. That's something that, because our team is so lean and moves so quick, and we have a technology development team that's fully focused on that, on our Driving for Dollars app, like that is, we also hang our hat on that is, we have, just killer updates all the time. Our DealMachine community, we have over 10,000, I think it's over 11,000 now, people on our Facebook group that really are super active and supportive of each other, hold each other accountable, help each other out, team up together. So I think that community, in addition to the technology, is pretty unique. And then even, I can talk about one-off features all the time, like our one-off handwritten letters, our one-off skip traces, all kinds of stuff like that. But I think in the end, it comes down to what's the easiest and best product to land your first deal. And that's where we are focused. That's where we say, hey, that we're the best at that, of making it simple, easy, fast to get in there, drive for dollars, and find the best list out there. Because again, driving for dollars, what makes that unique is you're finding these leads that no one else has. Like, you are finding leads that are, they're distressed properties. There we go. Paul, have we been live this whole time, hopefully?
I don't hear nothing.
There we go. Can you hear me at all? Maybe. Man, is it pretty rough storm out there? Let me know if
I don't hear nothing.
Nothing? Oh no.
There we go.
There we go. You got me?
Yeah, I can hear. Sorry, I lost power for a few minutes. It's storming.
Yeah, was I live that whole time, I hope? Could you
I guess she was. I couldn't see nothing.
Okay.
I was rooting everything.
All good. I'll do a quick recap on that last question then real fast. But what I was mentioning as well on the driving for dollars side was in the middle of talking about why that matters. Driving for dollars in general, why they are the best leads is they are a list that no one else has. Like, again, you can go pull a list, buy a list, go, pull leads really quickly in a variety of ways. But if you actually find driving for dollars leads, you actually went out there and, drove around and find houses that are need physical repair. There's no other place you can get that. You can't just go like buy a list that is, houses with boarded up windows or houses with, overgrown grass or whatever it might be. Like, that data is not out there. So you're finding leads, you're finding hidden deals that no one else is going after because it takes that extra step to get out there, go drive, go find them. So that's just from a D4D perspective. That just in case I wasn't live during the answer, they asked what's the difference between us and anything else out there. A couple things. One, again, we're focused on giving the power of real estate investing to everyone. The way to do that is to make it extremely simple, extremely easy to use. From a usability perspective, we just finished a survey from our customers. Their number one answer of why they like DealMachine was usability. So that is where we hang our hat, is saying we're super easy to use, super simple. You jump in, you get started right away. You know how to start taking massive action to get to that first deal. And then also we're the best in class in terms of driving for dollars. And we can point to that because of our highest rated app, most reviewed, most updated. Like, if you look at the updates in the App Store of how often we put out new features, every 1 to 2 weeks, you see stuff coming out all of the time from our team. And it's not just bug fixes. Like, you'll see other apps where it's just one-off bug fixes. This is, hey, you're going in and you're seeing brand new features come out, like our MLS data, like our sales pages, like our comps, like all kinds of stuff that we've been putting out there. Happy to get into that. But I think the frequency we're updated, our support gets back to you in less than 4 minutes. Our community is phenomenal. We've got all these different features, but I think in the end, it comes down to ratings and reviews and, simplicity. So wanted to answer that. Did anybody else have any questions too, before I jump into that playbook, or happy to answer Q&A, Paul, too?
Drew wants to know if he can use your promo code. He signed up a few days ago. Forgot to use it when he signed up.
Yeah. So if you go, just my email is just matt@dealmachine.com. If you want to throw that on the screen real quick too, matt@dealmachine.com. Or maybe let me see if I can do that here. Cool. Yeah. If you're somebody who, like you said, forgot to use it, reach out to me there and I can work with you to get that corrected and get you, switched over and get you the marketing credits that you should get. So, yeah. Anybody else before I keep rolling? Or
that's the only one I see. Everything else is good. He was live when I was going to. They said so.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. I was kind of just talking to myself, and hopefully someone could hear it. So, nice. Is it just going crazy in Tennessee, or like what's the deal with the?
It wasn't when I started, but it just happened 5 minutes in. I'm like, dude, it's storming out that window.
Yeah, dude. St. Louis is the same way. Like, yeah, it goes from 100 and humid to insane thunderstorm pretty quick. So, all right. So to give everyone, I know we talked about David's story a little bit. Again, if you're going to try us out, that 7-day free trial and $35 in free marketing credits, the best way to go do that is Paul35. If you do that, the 35 marketing credits, that's $35 worth of skip traces and postcards. So I'll go through that in my playbook of why that's important, what that means, how that helps you. But the stuff that I give you today, I mean, it's helped people who are brand new, like newbies who have never done anything in real estate before. Like we had one guy, his name's Raman Quaidis. He's in Atlanta. We interviewed him on our YouTube channel a few months ago. Him and Elise sat down. He landed a $50K wholesale fee in his 7-day free trial using our D4D plan. And again, that's not going to happen every time. That's not like, you got to be right place, right time. But he put himself in the right position where he literally added that lead as he was driving on his way to a haircut and was getting a haircut. Noticed, oh man, that house needs some help. He skipped trace him on the spot, gave him a call, and a couple days later they had a contract. So he was going through, and we had people like that who is there. They're going and making some life-changing money quick from perspective. And then we have people who are like Ryan Haywood, who he's out of Kansas City. You can look him up on our YouTube channel too. We talk to him decently often, but he started with us in January 2020. Had no past real estate experience, did a 30-day challenge found on social media. And as he jumped into it, day 2 was go download DealMachine. Like a couple of weeks later, he did his first deal. And again, the goal that I give you, like the playbook I give you, it's from these guys, but it gives you, and it's from, the 150 plus people we've interviewed on our YouTube channel. But those 3 things like that, they're setting up for long-term success. So even if you don't land, a $50K wholesale fee in the first week, like you're still setting yourself up to do that first deal as soon as possible. But Ryan, he's done over 200 deals since January 2020 with us. His wife's part of his real estate business. He's got a full-time driver now. He's got a full-time cold caller who's really like a acquisitions manager type role. So he's built a whole business on top of that. So everything I give today will be like distilled down from those guys and from, the conversations we have and the data we look at to really show you like, hey, here is the best way to go out and find that first deal. So, cool. Any other questions I can answer here? Paul, feel free to just keep jumping in if you see them, but.
Can you push the link with the promo code attached?
Yeah. Let me see here. Let me find that for you guys. Should be it right here. Paul 35. Boom. Does that show up when I do private chat? Oh, does that go to you, Paul?
Yeah, that goes straight to me.
Got it. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's comments. Nice.
You guys comments. Come on, man.
I've hosted it, but I haven't been a guest in a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, if you want to throw those in the comments, my email and then that link I just sent you, Paul, that would be awesome. Perfect. Yeah, that link just auto fills out Paul's promo code here, so that way, nice. That way, you automatically get all those free credits. Is D4D and DealMachine pretty much the same thing? Then we like to think so. we're pretty synonymous with driving for dollars. The term driving for dollars, we didn't invent it. It's been around forever. Is a proven process. That's why the 3 steps I give you today, like I'm excited to do that because it'll tell you like, hey, here, this works in any market, any up markets, down markets, whatever. Like, especially now if things are turning at all, like are slowing down, you got to buy right. You have to go direct to seller and find a property owner that is in a distressed situation where you can come in and solve a problem for them. And, and driving for dollars is how you go do that, how you go find those leads. So we can do more than driving for dollars, but we love to be thought of as a driving for dollars app as well, because, that's the number one way that newbies are finding their first deal. So, let's see. I have a few questions jumping in the chat. So I'll jump in. What's up, guys? All right. Perfect. Awesome. So to go through that 3-step playbook, step 1, and this is, again, a call to action and saying, hey, get out there, take massive action. Don't overthink it. Step 1 is simply building your list. It's getting out there. It's driving. It's, whether it be in your own backyard, whether it be, Paul, I mean, you can do virtual, like you can do it literally anywhere in the US. We have all 50 states. Someone has done a deal in every single state using DealMachine. So, we've had literally almost 100 million leads added to DealMachine. Like people are doing this over and over and over again. But the idea here is start driving, go in your own backyard, maybe ask, other people on the stream if there's, if they're in your own neighborhood and where they're driving, or, hey, go look on Facebook groups and figure out where deals being done. Look on online forums, just figure out where the deals are being done in your particular community or in a community that you're looking to invest in, and start there. And again, the idea is to physically drive around or to virtually drive around, which in DealMachine, you can actually click for dollars and virtually go through and be able to, and I can try to screen share here a little bit at the end to show off some of this stuff, but you can virtually click around and find, physically distressed properties using Google Street Images, Street View. But the ideal scenario would be is if you physically drive in your neighborhood, in your city, in your area, go for the places that deals are happening, because this is a strategy to find those hidden deals. Like, if you have a lot of activity in an area, they're probably finding them in other ways than driving for dollars. They may be doing it a little bit, but this is a great way to find those properties that other people aren't finding because they're just buying a list or pulling a list or doing things like that. And if you continue to do that, I'd say that the real tipping point that we see is if you can go and add your first 100 properties. And we see that in the data because even if, many times, especially if you're in a super competitive market, many times the first 100 properties, like, that may not get you your first deal, like that may not be enough leads to land a deal. Paul, I don't know if you have any advice there on like how many leads you think it takes to, get to that first deal or anything.
It depends on the marketing methods. To me, it's usually out of 20 to buy leads. And to me, it's like other marketing methods. It's 500,000.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and that's pretty, 500,000, that's pretty on par. 1,000 would be in the more competitive markets, 500. Even in St. Louis, we usually see 300 to 400, but so it may take more than 100 leads. But the point is, if you can land your first one, or if you can input your first 100, you're building the right habits to, and yeah, Paul, you were cutting out a little bit there. So I maybe try to mess with your audio if you have any way to do that. But the first 100 habits, the first 100 leads will give you a great habit of getting out there and consistently doing this. So that 100, yeah, it probably is the weather. You're I don't know if you can fix that, man, but I'll keep sharing. I'll keep sharing the playbook here. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But the first 100 leads here, that gets you to that tipping point of where we see people being successful. Like, they're, once you do that, you've driven around for a couple hours, usually to get to that 100 leads, anywhere from 2 hours to 6 hours, somewhere in that range. Depends how fast you are at this. Depends on what areas you're driving, all of that, and how rural it is versus how, much of a dense city you're in. But as you're doing that, like, go drive around. And if you get to that point, like, that's where we see people stick with it. That's where we see people start to have conversations, really build momentum, really get used to this, really do this as even, a small side hustle, and it grows from there and it snowballs from there. So the first 100 properties is absolutely key. I know after that, one other kind of pro tip I really recommend is using our highlights button. So within DealMachine, on the map there's a highlights button that you can go in, and when you press highlights, you see a filter pop up, and you can say, hey, show me all the high equity properties around me, or show me all the absentee properties or vacant, or whatever list you want to appear on the map. And you'll see highlights start to pop up all around you, and it'll highlight different houses all around you that fit that criteria. And the reason why you want to do that is, like, yes, you don't want to only do that. Like, the key is to find physical distress. Like, that is very much, where the best deals are going to come from is, again, the physically distressed properties is the number one motivated seller, number one indicator of a motivated seller. But in the end, like, if you can combine that physical distress with other things, so oh, this house fits my criteria, and on top of that, it is also physically distressed, like, tag that property as high priority, focus your time on it, make sure you reach out to them and really follow up with them, because that's like the a golden lead would be, hey, they fit what I'm looking to buy, and then also by the way, it's a fixer upper. Do you, Paul, hopefully we can hear you here. Do you have any tips on like different criteria of like really how to qualify a lead?
It comes down to motivation. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, better than before at least.
Yeah. It all comes down to motivation. Do they want to sell or do they not? I don't spend a lot of time with leads, so first few questions pretty much qualifies them if they really want to sell, or if they're just tire kickers trying to get ARV value for it. So it's all about if you can't create motivation. Either they need to sell for whatever reason. Your goal is to find out what that reason is, or they don't need to sell. So I don't waste a lot of time with rapport per se. I guess it's kind of like I get so many leads if they know how to get a hold of me to decide they want to sell for a cheaper price. I usually make an offer. If they won't give me an offer, give me a price, I'll just throw a low ball out of kind of in the vicinity of what I want to give. And if they no, well, now they kind of know where I'm at. So in the future, I've had people reach out like, oh, I still want to buy my house because I need to sell it really bad now. Might be 3 months, might be a month, might be 6 months.
Yeah. I just didn't know if there were, in terms of targeting those properties, if it was like, oh, a certain square footage, certain build, certain equity, any like qualifiers there.
Be free and clear is always the best, but it depends on what your goal is. I mean, you can go for the ones that are in pre-foreclosure. You may not be able to wholesale them, but if they got low equity, you can always do the owner financing with subject twos and get into all that fancy creative financing stuff if you want. So I mean, wholesaling, a lot of people don't realize it's just an exit strategy. Like it's not the only way to do real estate. It just gets you where to learn way more if you want to do creative financing and all that stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
For almost 4 years, that's all I've done. I've done a couple subject to deals, and I just didn't like them. I ended up selling the contract. I actually wholesale the contract on a subject to deal I did before. But now I'm kind of shifting over to get more into the creative finance through wholesaling though. If a deal don't work out, I'm just like, hey, would you want to do this instead? So I don't waste the lead.
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, you can succeed in a ton of different ways. Like you said, pre-foreclosure, that might tick up here in the coming, months and years. Free and clear, like you said, I mean, that's high equity and no liens against the property. Like that's a really, really good filter. So, you're looking at, there's a lot of ways you can do it, but even just having one of those filters on and using that as you drive around gives you a good sense of even like when those highlights pop up, pick an area to drive that you see a bunch of those highlights clustered around because like, hey man, that's a good spot to start. So I will, Rhonda, we have actually on our YouTube channel, if you go to DealMachine on YouTube, we have a ton of YouTube videos on tutorials too. I'll stick around and be able to give you guys a quick little screen share of a lot of that stuff. So that way you can really see the platform in action. I'll quickly go through these next 2 steps for you guys too. So that way everybody, has kind of the playbook of what our most successful investors are doing. But step 1, like I said, it's getting out there. It's either virtually or physically driving for dollars in your neighborhood, in your area, using data to help you if you can, and start get that first 100 leads in there, and you're setting yourself up for success. Step 2, and if you have any other questions, feel free to throw that in the comments too. I'll keep trying to monitor that too. Then we've got step 2 would be, you have all these awesome leads. You've gone out, you've found physically distressed properties. Awesome. What do I do with them? Step 2 is reaching out to them, and it's doing a mixed marketing strategy. This is something, Paul, I forget on your end, like, is there anything in particular? I mean, between like text, call, email, postcards, is it kind of a mix or?
Text blast is the only thing I've never cold called. I never will. Yeah. So it's always a text blast. If I have to ever do anything, it's a text blast. Email. I mean, most stuff you end up in junk folders. People don't check your email. That. So text blast is usually the best. Because I like to text all my leads. I don't hardly ever get on the phone with them. 9 out of 10, I can never pick up the phone. I use like an unlimited text blast service because I don't want to be charged for every text coming and going. Because that's how I prefer to carry my conversation. So that's what I do. If I have to text, it's just text blast, and I try to close them through text blast.
Love that. Yeah, I mean, I think texting for sure, like really, no matter what the marketing method is, like you can reach people in a variety of ways. I think it's playing to your strengths is absolutely key. Like if you prefer to communicate with text, do it. If you think you have, if you can build, trust quickly with people on a call or even a door knock, like we've seen people do that. I know that takes it takes another level to go like not care and just go knock on doors. But
like call all of this big guy at my
door. Depends on the city you're in too. I'll go over a little better in different places. But yeah, we see people do that. We see people like leaving door hangers or flyers or email, like you said. A lot of times that goes to spam, but we've seen people do it. The key that we see over time is combining two things. It's combining a short-term marketing outreach method. So that would be texting in your case, or, whatever, call, text, email, door knock, door hanger, flyer, whatever the heck you're doing, quick response methods like that, where they can quickly say, yes, they're interested or not. And then combine that with long-term outreach. And how we really talk about that is, you'll really get to a point with your leads where you'll have too many leads that you couldn't call them every single day. You can text them a lot of times, but you can't necessarily like do these one-to-one interactions all the time. So how you scale yourself beyond that is by using, for us, through the DealMachine app, you can send postcards, and you can set it and forget it, where you can say, hey, once every 3 weeks, once a month, send them a postcard and send them this template, then a handwritten letter, then this, then that. You can get really custom, or you can just be real simple and just do, hey, send them the same template over and over again. Ryan Haywood, like the guy who's done 200 plus deals with us in the last 2 years, he just uses our default templates. He just literally sets it and says, hey, send this to them once a month. And he'll have leads that call him a year out, 2 years out, even now at this point. They got his postcard forever ago, or they've been getting his postcards for that long, and they're coming back to him, and now the time is right. And the goal with this is you want to get on their radar. That's the short-term outreach. And then you want to stay on top of mind with them, stay in the front of their mind of when the timing is right, that they think of you first, they reach out to you first, they have your postcard on the top of their mail pile or on their fridge or your number on their phone, whatever they did, and you're the first one they think of. Let's see, does the age of a homeowner matter for ways of reaching out? It's a really good question. I do think the male probably skews maybe a little bit older in terms of demographic of people who are paying attention to it, whereas texting maybe skews a little bit younger. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't have data to back that up, but I know just from personal experience and interviews, we've seen that a little bit. Everybody's going to respond differently. Like some people pick up their phone more, some people respond text, some people read their mail, some don't. So it's like, if you can put up that marketing mix, that's the ideal situation of hitting them from all sides. So that way, no matter what they prefer to respond to, you've got that covered. So, awesome. So, first step, again, build that list of leads. First 100 is key. Use data to pick an area if you can, or just start driving around, or use virtual. Step 2 is reach out, do the short-term outreach, do the long-term outreach, do it in tandem. We give you technology to make that easier, but do those two in tandem. And then 3 would be really, and this is absolutely key, it's organizing your leads and consistency, like consistently following up. And how people use DealMachine to do that, we actually have a list of leads there that you can go in, you can import and export leads, you can set tasks for yourself, you can take notes on each individual property. You can really use it as a CRM in a lot of ways. We don't call ourselves a CRM, but there's a lot of things that have to do with that. I think like, and Stefan, yeah, that's awesome. There we go. More tech savvy than some 20-year-olds. That's what I mean, is like, there is not a cookie cutter way. The ideal outreach is a mix, like do a mix of things, and people respond differently to different things. I know, again, the third step is organizing your leads, following up with them. If you take notes on every conversation you have and you use things like within DealMachine, you can look back and see when you sent postcards, when you skip traced them, you can take notes on that particular conversation, all that in there. The key for that is to really continue to learn from that. And when you lose a deal, go back and figure out where you may have lost it. If you win a deal, awesome. Figure out, what did you do? Like, why did you add that lead? How did you reach out to them? What conversations did you have? All of that. Good question, David. A customer relationship management software. So I'll screen share and show you guys exactly what that says. And awesome, got the name right. There we go. the CRM is essentially a place to manage your leads and make sure that you don't have any of them slip through the cracks. So I'll show that to you guys here in just a second. But again, step 1, build that list. Step 2, market to that list. Step 3, stay organized, consistently do that. Happy to come back on and talk about more advanced strategies at some point in the future. Like we see people build driving teams using DealMachine. Like they'll add, you can add drivers to your team in DealMachine and have people drive for you and drive around. And that's a whole nother deep dive that I'm happy to talk about of how to build a driving team. It's kind of an advanced strategy, but start here. Like start with this simple playbook of finding the leads, marketing those leads, and making sure they don't fall through the cracks. And I think that, that's going to give you, you're going to put yourself in the position for long-term success. And that's what, again, we've had, people like Ryan, people like Raman doing that over and over again and have led to their first deal and many, many more deals after that. So awesome. So wanted to get through that. I'm happy to share my screen here, Paul, too, and try to get through that. I will say really quick too, again, we've got, for everyone who's stuck around to this point, wanted to kind of give people that exclusive offer too, just because this is something that you can't find on our site. You can't find this anywhere else from that perspective. Like you can either do, if you're willing to try out DealMachine, again, you get a 7-day free trial. If you go to, I think, did you throw that link in the chat at any point, Paul? Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay, cool. If you just use that, it'll auto fill out, that promo code for you. But if you go through that one, there you go. Nice. Perfect. If you go through that link, or you can just put in promo code Paul35, that's going to give you $35 worth of free skip tracing, which is what allows you to call, text, email inside DealMachine, and which is about 250 free skip traces. So 250 properties you could reach out to and start talking to. Awesome, Joshua. Yep. You download the app. I start from there. Perfect. When you sign up, make sure to put that promo code in the sign up trial or in the sign up form. And that way you can, make sure you get all this free stuff as well. So you've got the $35 free that way, through Paul 35, again, that's over 250 skip traces and, or over 60 free postcards that you can send out. So that's one way. If you're, beyond that, if you're really saying like, hey, yeah, which one you're set up for success with this playbook, like I talked about today, with the 7-day free trial, with the $35 of free marketing credits, like all that stuff you can go out and for free start getting out there, start making conversations happen. If you're really looking at the second half of this year and saying like, yeah, I want to land that first deal, I want to get out there, I want to commit to massive action, invest in yourself, use Paul as a resource, use us as a resource, use technology to find deals. I have this shortcut domain right here, this URL. If you want to throw this in, it's just DealMachine.com/TikTok Paul. If you want to throw that in the chat too, Paul, as well, that will be a full, again, if you're ready to fully commit, that is where you're going to get a 12-month deal. And it would be a much, much different deal if you go through our website. This is something that, again, don't share out this link with people because it's only for Paul's audience. Make sure they're following Paul if they're doing this. But this is for Paul's audience only. This is something where if you go in, you're going to be getting nearly 50% off the total value. It's like over $1,200 of value for less than $600. And that would be the full year of DealMachine driving for dollars. So all the stuff I talked about today, the driving for dollars, being able to, track around you, add leads, skip trace them, send postcards to them, track them, all that stuff, that'll be right in there. You get an onboarding call. So that way you're ready to go. You set goals, you get out there, you get MLS data. That's, sold data, expired listing data, all of that in every single state, no matter what state you're in, non-disclosure states included. You can add a driver to your account. So you can add somebody to drive around with you and for you and add leads that way. You can virtual drive for dollars. You get all those free skips, all those free mailers. And then on top of that, the sales page feature, if you're going to dispo the property, if you're going to, wholesale that property and need to send it to cash buyers, Paul, I think we've shown you this, maybe not, but have you seen the sales landing pages that we have? No. Okay. Whenever you inside DealMachine, if you mark a property as under contract, like you've gotten that contract, it'll automatically create a landing page for that property. And it's basically a link online that you can send to any cash buyer, and you can customize it. So that way it's got your pictures of the property, all the details, everything to reach out to you and get in contact with you. And that way you look extremely credible, professional. You look like you know what you're doing as a newbie. And it also makes it easy to communicate with your cash buyers instead of like sending all this info back and forth and, you know, sending emails and Dropbox links and all this stuff. Like you can just send that one link and they can find it right there. So I would say, let's see, we'll be able to use both. Yeah. So if you can do the free trial and then use this link after that. This link doesn't expire, the DealMachine.com/TikTok there, I go for it that way too. All I'm saying is for today, like, hey, if you're ready to commit, if you're ready to say, hey, regardless of what, a small sample size, a small 7-day free trial is going to get me, like, I'm ready to take that step and go out and fully commit. Like, this is the best way to do it. Like, definitely go through this than through our website there. So, and then one bonus with this too, outside of the sales pages, we also are going to give everybody the free MLS comps tool in DealMachine. And I'll screen share here in just a minute, show off a lot of this stuff. But the free MLS comps tool, that's a $20 a month tool. So it's $240 a year. And that's so that way, whenever you're driving for dollars, you get in touch with people, you get in their property, you're actually talking to them, you're on the appointment. If on the spot, they're like, hey, what is it worth? What are you going to offer me? You can pull up on your phone right there and say, hey, here's confidently what I'll show you what your after repair value is. And you can say, hey, I think it's going to cost this to fix up your house. Here's what your after repair value costs. And you can do the math right in front of them and show them like, hey, here's what a reasonable offer is for this property. So being able to show the seller what their property is worth and do the math for them and be extremely confident in that data and those numbers, like that's the tool to do it. And it's super easy and convenient because you're on the go anyway. It's right in the mobile app. So that's something that it would be for free as well through that link. So wanted to share all of that with you guys. I'll jump into a demo. Again, I'll take questions throughout too. But Paul, do you have any questions or any thoughts before I jump into this too, man?
You're on it today.
All right, there we go, man. Let me see here. All right, share. Hopefully this works. Share screen. Side screen. Perfect. Oh no, browser can't access your screen. That's not great. Try capturing different screens. This continues. All right, give me one more try here. All right, hold on. We're fighting through a storm. We're fighting through technical difficulties, and we're still making it happen, right? Okay. Share screen. Does this work? Oh, no. That didn't work either. Let me see if I can share my phone screen. All right. Let's see if I can do this too. So again, I'll show off, a quick rundown in terms of like the overall features, what DealMachine can do. Again, we're known for driving for dollars, but within driving for dollars, it's a map. You tap to add the leads on that map. You can see MLS data on that map. You can, whenever you add a lead around you, that's just you driving around. You see a property that is a fixer upper. Cool. Add that lead. Like right here on my camera's far away too. Like you've got, see this, hopefully.
It's all white. It's a glare.
All right. Let me see if I can join this again. But you can jump on, tap to add the property. You can see all of the info around that property owner right on there. So you can see like equity percentage, estimated repair, estimated value, that's after repair value. You can see all the MLS data. You can see, all the mortgage data, all of that from anything from a county assessor site that would all be right in there. And people, are you guys laughing at me trying to figure out how to do this? And then, it'll give you all the data from every single lead. And then on top of that, you can also, if you're driving around, you can do virtual D4D. You can add a driver and they can drive around. It'll actually, when you add a lead, it'll prompt you to take a picture of that property. And the reason being is when you do that, that picture will automatically appear on the postcard that you send them if you send them mail. And that actually doubles your response rate. Like that gets their attention on, oh, they drove past my house, you know, or even if they're like an absentee owned property owner, they might not even know the condition of their property. We get that too. Of like, is that really what my house looks like right now? Like they'll get things like that. So I know in general, you know, the goal is to jump in the map, you know, start adding leads, driving around. You can use the highlights lead filter that way. But outside of that, you know, it tracks your routes. It lets you skip trace and call those owners. It lets you send mail. You can do comps on the spot, those sales pages I talked about, and then all of the CRM features as well. All right, let me see here. We'll give this one more try. And if we can't do the screen share on this one, we'll have to get back on, Paul, and do some other time soon and actually do a live demo after a little, hopefully have less technical issues here. All right, let's see. Will this let me join here? You might see my phone jump on and see if that will help here. Okay, mute it. Cool. All right. So here we go. Okay. Can you, let's see. Audio. All right. Are you able to see my phone maybe, Paul?
I just see you. Oh, I have to give you permission. Oh, I went to add you and it disappeared.
Oh, let me try that again then.
My bad. As soon as I went to click, it disappeared.
You're good. Hopefully, like we can give people what they want here. There we go. Okay. So let's see. Can I share my screen on this? Maybe not. Damn. All right. Well, you know what? Next time we'll do a few tests ahead of time so we can show off a demo. Regardless, our YouTube channel, DealMachine, there you go. Our YouTube, you know, in general, it has close to 1,000 videos at this point, I think. Let me pull up the stream of demos that we have because our team is phenomenal at putting out demo content like this. But regardless, the playbook I walked through verbally today with you, that's how you do it. That's, you know, where you get started. Here we go. Playlist. All right. So if you go through and you look at, here's our DealMachine YouTube. Thanks for trying. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. Someday we'll get this. Next time, this is a teaser for next time. So next time it's really awesome. Paul, there's the chat if you want to share that. In general, like the goal, you know, within DealMachine, when you first get started, it'll show you how to add leads. It'll show you how to, you know, say, hey, start driving around, start tapping on properties, you know, add those leads, start skip tracing them, start sending mail to them, start reaching out to them, track those leads on the leads tab within DealMachine. The DealMachine.com version and the mobile version, they instantly sync up. So anything you do on mobile will automatically, you know, be reflected on desktop and vice versa. So even, you know, outside of driving for dollars, we do have people using List Builder as well, which is our list pulling tool. And they'll do those even in tandem. Like we'll see people pull a list and then you can hit drive that list in DealMachine. If you're on our pro plan, the drive that list feature, that actually imports GPS into DealMachine, shows you, hey, go here, 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 here. And it takes you the fastest route to drive past every single property and go through and validate, oh yeah, you know, I pulled them on this list, but then also they're physically distressed. Let me tag that property as high priority and make sure that I spend time calling, texting, emailing, door knocking, sending mail to those people. So in tandem, people use those quite a bit. But in the end, think about it as that build your list, whether it be D4D or pull or list builder, market to that list, and then stay top of mind with that list. And you're going to set yourself up for success. On Awesome. Love the feedback, Drew, for the year promo. Once you're more familiar, if you want, a direct demo, what I can do too, if anybody emails me, Matt@DealMachine.com, I'll try to set up a Zoom line with you guys ASAP, so that way I can just do a demo too, just because I couldn't figure it out on here. I don't want you guys to suffer for that. So I can show you guys off a demo after this as well, either tomorrow or early next week. And just email me direct. I'm happy to do that. So, yeah, Rhonda, awesome. Love it. Yep. We like to call ourselves a one-stop shop there too. And then again, the driving for dollars is really, I would say, what takes us to the next level in terms of being unique. Drew, you're the one who sent the email. Okay, cool. Yeah. Anybody else, just Matt@DealMachine.com. Use me as a resource. And also, when you land that first deal using DealMachine, reach out to me and we would love to feature you. Like, we'd love to give you some shine, to interview you, to build your credibility in your local market. That's something that we have people like Ryan, will interview him and then he'll send it out to his list and be like, look who, I was on DealMachines podcast and check this out. And, it's a great thing to build your network with. So, and it builds credibility for you as well. So, would love to interview you and tell your story as well. Cool. Awesome. Perfect. If anybody has any other questions, I know I have to drop here in just a minute, but Pulse was fun. I know we fought through it, but we figured it out, right?
Been fun. Never used this StreamYard before. I gotta get better at it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We're rookies too. So, awesome. And then again, make sure to use that DealMachine.com/TikTok Paul for our best annual deal to fully commit to this, or give us a try at that promo code Paul35. That's a 7-day free trial, month-to-month plan from there. But again, the people who commit to the annual, we overwhelmingly see, based on the number that renew, like, they're doing deals. They committed, they've got skin in the game, they've invested in themselves. They go out, they turn that investment into 5, 10, 15, 20, 50K in a wholesale deal. So they're taking action. So, yeah, appreciate you having me on, Paul. It's been fun, man.
Oh, appreciate everybody who showed up. I got 52 lives going on right now. So.
I was going to say, I'm impressed by you. You're like, ways. Yeah, dude.
I appreciate it. I'll schedule another live here soon.
Yeah, love to. Sounds good, man.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
See you, buddy.